Let me go now and call to order this city council meeting. We want to say good evening to all of you for Tuesday, June 10th, 2014, the city council meeting. We'd like to ask all of you to please stand and let us keep the Lord's Prayer in unison. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Let us pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. We will now have a roll call from our city clerk, Fatima Clark. Madam Clerk, please.
Mayor Ford.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Haygood. Councilwoman Moon. Present. Councilwoman Whitehead. Present. Councilman Lee. Present. Mr. Mayor, all council members are present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now go to our citizens' communications, limited to 3 minutes. The floor now is open to any of our citizens who wish to speak. Going once, going twice, 3 times a lady. All right, we'll get out on time. Okay, great. All right, we'll proceed then to approval of the agenda. The only thing I wanted to add is the Macon County Board of Education Council. I do want to recommend to the council that at some point we do provide some financial assistance to the Board of Education. I met with the superintendent, and what we are doing is we're sharing the schools and their facilities and the parks. They put bleachers in the park, a baseball field, and for the semi-pro football that we have going. In other words, we've been working together in the betterment of our youth. And I think we should make some contributions to the Board of Education. They asked for $100,000. I would suggest that the city make available $50,000 and the utility board. Now, whether or not we do it in this fiscal year or not is what we have to do, what we have to determine. I want us to look at our budget and make a determination. I'd also like to suggest that we have a working session with the superintendent and members of the board so that we can, because when we get together, we come up with a lot of ways that we can work together and how we can help each other. They really do have a lot of resources that can help us. They have a communication system in the school system that is just tremendous. They have a studio out at BTW that is totally equipped for journalism and communications, for television and radio. They made available for us to use as a public studio. They have some needs specifically, such as patching and paving the streets, not the streets, but the entryways for the buses coming into the schools. That's one example. The track at the stadium needs to be surfaced, and they don't have a baseball field. It makes no sense for this town to have a comprehensive high school and they not have an official baseball. They got a baseball team and no official field. Now, of course, they're using our fields, and we're happy to let them use them. And that's the kind of spirit we're talking about. And so there are a lot of things that we can work together on. So I wanted to put that on the agenda so that we could set a time and we can have a joint meeting with the Board of Education. So I want to put education on. And number 2, there was one other item I wanted to put on. Well, let's just put the education for me.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I have fundraisers on.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I would want us to meet on that first.
First? Okay.
Within the city council,
Okay.
with the city manager, to discuss our financial situation before entertaining a specific amount for anyone outside the city. We have some departments that have made requests that we're not meeting. And I have some specific concerns about some very serious city obligations we have first. And I do want to support the Board of Education, but before we go to that level,
Let's have an
that's
internal
what I
meeting.
support you. I think we
That's
should have
fine.
an internal meeting, if you don't
No,
mind.
no problem. I don't mind. Let's do it that way. Okay? All right. Well, now, give me a time when you'd like to do that. Let's look at schedules. The reason why I want to put it on the agenda so I could set a time.
Right.
Yeah. Now, you all know that they have asked for, remember, when I was not here, that's when they came, and they asked for the 100,000. So that's no secret that they've asked for that amount. But you're right, let's look at our internal wherewithal first. Ken, you want the clerk to poll you?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Okay,
I
we'll
think
do
it's
that.
going to come as soon as we
We'll do
get
that.
together.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm totally open to this education. All right, well then we'll go now. The chair will entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion for approval of the agenda as it is. Moved by the Mayor Pro Tem, second by Council Lady Whitehead. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So be it. I know what I wanted to put on the agenda. Did we have the Attorney General's opinion? Is that already on the agenda? Yeah, I wanted to put that on. Huh?
It can just come under my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all right, well, okay. That we'll receive it, you're gonna make the recommendation? Yeah, go ahead, son.
It's on the new agenda.
Let's see here, new agenda, everyone. Where is it located? Yeah, okay, it's on, it's already on. So when we approve it, it's already on. And you can report on it though. Okay. All right, we'll go to approval of the minutes for May 27th, 2014. Chair will entertain a motion. Minutes have been circulated. Did you all see your minutes? But that's okay, you got it right. Did you see anything in there? Okay. All right, if minutes have been circulated, the chair will entertain a motion that the minutes be adopted as circulated with any necessary corrections or changes.
Mr. Mayor.
So, moved by Council Lady Moon, second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Questions, comments? Being none, those in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, please give the sign of nay. The next item is, okay, yes, Your Honor, did you have something? No, you were just looking. I thought, okay. Mayor's Communications, City Council Work Session. So we didn't get into anything other than discussing the resolution for reimbursement in the work session. So now it's open to any items. I'd like to ask the city manager, and this is in Greenwood on Clark Street. There's some concerns that were raised on Clark Street in reference to the old Sears property, Clark Street. I just wanted to call that, if the city manager could follow up on that. It's across from where Miss Barbara Harrington lives in that area. She's the one that called it to our attention. I think they know where it is, like Clark and what's that street? Mr. Lee, that's your district.
Oh, Sears.
Yeah. Scott Street, I think, yeah, that area. Okay. Okay. Now, we'll start with you, Mr. Pro Tem. Any items you need to call or areas you need to call? Now, we are going to have a meeting with map of subdivisions. Right, we have that letter from your district.
They have, yeah, they sent me a letter.
Right. And
They're concerned, they had over and over.
Microphone.
we made some progress, but
They were real concerned about a number of items.
we have a letter, and you have it too, right, Mr. Manager? So they were asking for a meeting. When's the date?
They had the meeting already.
Oh, they had the meeting. When? In June.
June 2nd.
Oh, early on.
Right. I attended
That's
the
your
meeting, that's why I
district?
said I
Oh,
wanted to
you
bring-
attended the meeting?
I wanted to bring it before the council. The main issue that they brought up was, again, the diversion of large trucks. Have we made any inquiries to the Department of Transportation about having a truck be done? One concern.
Yeah, but they had the meeting. It's your
But
district.
I've been bringing it up to the council meeting, I've been telling the city manager about it, and nobody made a move on it. It's not that they haven't been telling me about it, but I've been bringing it here.
They've asked for caution, like some of the things we might be able to do. It's very simply flashing caution light strategically placed on Chapel James before Brothers Drive and Auburn Street. The biggest problem they have those huge trucks coming to their rapid speeds. They also asked that we put up new speed limit signs so they can make it clear to the truck what the speed limit signs are. And the removal of abandoned cars and overgrown weeds and bushes, trees, and some of the lots in there. They said it's just been out of hand, and some of the absentee property owners, there's been no response to get that done from the absentee property owners. One other thing that they had, serious concern they had, was about getting a shelter in the area, find out where the nearest shelter is in terms of a tornado, and that their sirens are not working. They can't hear the tornado sirens in the area. It goes on. And as I mentioned to you earlier in our discussion today, Mayor, I happened to get some information from one of the companies we saw when we were down in Mobile, and it deals with street lights, and it's called Speed Check. It would be a perfect solution for that. The Speed Check puts up the speed, it shows you what speed you're going, it has the right speed, and it actually has a caution light on it, so that would accomplish all three of those objectives.
Okay.
This just happened to come to my email about today or yesterday, just got it. So it might be something we could consider that would touch upon all those problems until we can get those trucks figured out. Then the other thing, as we talked about, if we could get the chief and find out what we could do in that area about putting officers out there, because I've been out there, and those trucks, they don't slow down at all coming through there. So,
But they used to slow down when Bernice was out there.
with some folks out there that might cause them to slow down. But that was their main concern.
Everybody slows down. That's the real solution.
And the final thing, the biggest concern they had, Councilwoman Moon, was about getting Brothers Drive paved, because I think the council had agreed to make that a priority, Mr. Manager, and we haven't addressed that issue on Brothers Drive. That's a terrible condition, and it was like that a year and a half ago when I campaigned out there. I mean, that street is rough. It's a long street in connection, so they really want to find out if we can really do anything about that street coming from Madison.
Mount subdivision has a lot of concerns, and I've been bringing it to the city council. That's about it every meeting, and that's not the only area. We have other areas in Tuskegee, they're not the only one that need help.
Oh,
No,
yeah?
we are off Auburn Street over there on Chisholm area. That road down there, holes everywhere you step. You know, so we got these holes and everything all over the town. I know they're concerned, but we can't just do for them, we gotta do for all.
It wasn't intent to do for them. I was just saying they sent a specific letter, invited us all to the meeting, including the chairman of the commission. And they invited us and asked us to respond to something that we responded to, said we would make an effort. So I think we owe them the courtesy to at least say we are specifically going to do something, or we have a timetable or schedule. Because really, I'm really concerned that we can go other places. We haven't shown a priority to what we agreed to. We give the city manager, let's get a priority. I think we all said that was one of the first places when we all tried out 2 or 3 streets we wanted, so if as soon as we get the resources, we can let them know that we're in that direction, not just let them know that We have multiple places, we're gonna push it back, but I don't think we have to compare one side to the next one. I mean, we're gonna try to do all of them like you said.
All right, I'm gonna let you all resolve this. What you all do?
I just know that this dress and the city manager knows about it. Mr. Boyd, Mr. Smith, all of them know about the problem that we have. These concerns keep coming back every week. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll let them be told that we have problems.
Please.
Who all attended me June 2nd? Did you attend June 2nd? Missed that.
I was invited out.
That was the day before the election, probably how everybody.
What was it, Monday?
Yeah, Monday before the election.
Second, we all mentioned that we were going to be there. We talked about this at the last meeting, so Madam Clerk, help us a little bit more to, because that just got by me, huh? Because I saw Ms. Duncan, and Duncan, I said, I'm coming to the meeting, because we were all invited. Boy, it just got by me. So I want to publicly apologize for not being there, but thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for being there. That's the role of a Mayor Pro Tem.
And I told them, you time they understood it. Ms. Whitehead, she was Saturday, they sent their regards to her, said she's been fond of Ms. Whitehead. They mentioned that in the meeting. They understood that a couple of things that you were working on.
You were probably politicking, but I don't have any excuse. I was running for you. It just got by me that Monday, huh? June 2nd.
Yeah. And they had
Good crowd.
Yeah.
Was it at the Armory?
No, it wasn't the Armory, because I got
Where
the
they-
message.
where they meet?
It was at Duncan's home.
Oh, at the house?
Yes.
All right, but, Your Honor, that's your district, so we'll let you.
I'll give me some money together and go over there and try to help.
Okay, it's your district. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for being there to represent us. And, yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
While we're on that subject, council members, we have a similar letter some time ago, like this Whitehead said. And the city manager said he had answered to some of those issues, correct?
Yeah.
Now, when we get a second letter listing those items, if the city manager could let us know that those are the items that we have taken care of, which you did do, I believe, and we're still working, then that would give the district to Mrs. Whitehead, when she goes back to the meeting, at least she will know that this is what we're taking care of. This is where we are on that agenda item. Because the city manager gets letters and phone calls like that every day. So we have to let him know how we want him to approach those issues. Because we go back to our district meetings and they have the same issues. We can't pay for street every day. We'd like to, and that's our priority. So as long as we as a council stick with the priority of paving, streets, abatements, weeds, I think we'll be on the right track. And so that, to me, is what we'll discuss, because that's what we ask the city manager, to make sure that those are our priorities in this city. And that's they look to us. When we go to our district meeting, they're not looking to the city manager. Like Ms. Whitehead said, they be on that same path every meeting. When we're gonna get the streets paved, when we're gonna get the weeds abated, when we're gonna, so that's our priority. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Okay. So, Mr. Manager, what I'd suggest we do for this neighborhood is let's have a session with them. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to meet, because I missed the meeting, quite frankly, and I intended to be there. So we can, it's your district, so Your Honor, you can set it up, and we'll give some special attention to it. Okay? All right. Let's go to Exit 38 project update. Mr. Manager, why don't you briefly give the council, I've asked Joe Turnham, who is the director of the Macon County Development Authority, to quarterback all of this. He's our paid professional developer, and I've asked the city manager and the general manager of the utilities to work with him on the details. And so you all met recently, so just give us a brief update on how things are coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Exit 38, we still doing some discussions over property exchanges. We haven't fully settled that yet. However, we are at the point now where we are offering, we sending option letters out to each one of the stakeholders to see whether the appraised value is what they will sell their property for to the cooperative district. And everybody that's intending to do something out there at the exit, the hotel, he's on board, he's ready to go. Zaxby's ready to go, C-Store is ready to go. However, the university is still on hold as far as what they're gonna do. And I think the major holdup at this point is the exchanges between Jeff Potter's property and the property the university owns on either side of the street. Last week or week before that, we had ALDOT out there at that intersection to advise us on the traffic, how we were going to be able to get in and out of each store as we go down from store to store, how we going to get into it. However, they put the burden back on us. They said we was going to have to do a traffic study and get back to them. The traffic study means how many cars and trucks are going up and down there, and give them that information and tell them how we were going to allow entry into each one of the businesses. And then they would tell us whether that's suitable, in compliance with the traffic laws. But at this point, like I said, we are offering some options of getting ready to go out to each one of the stakeholders, the land owners, I should say, and making them offers on the sale price of those properties. So that's one thing we got to get out of the way, so the cooperative district will own all of the property out there. So that's the intent, is for the cooperative district to own all the property. So we can decide how it's going to be designed, how each building is going to be structured. So we'll have absolute control. So the property will be leased back, each one of the stakeholders. They are really going to be responsible for the construction structure of each one of their facilities. Hotel, Zaxby's, all of those are going to be responsible for construction. And they got a stake in the $15 million bond. So they are allowed for, and the bond will be able to be issued if we couldn't show that the revenue that they're going to produce out there are going to be able to back the issue of the $15 million bond. So that's where we're at this point. We are moving forward.
Okay, that's where we are. We're Joe Turnham and city manager and the utility manager. They are working through all of the details. Okay, and what we'll do is, before we move forward to finalize anything, we'll have a working session with the Development Authority, all of the stakeholders, the council, any questions that you all may have on any of this. be answered. Yes, sir.
You approve the agenda, can I go back and?
Please, you got something?
I want to add, we are requesting council to approve a resolution for a grant from EDA to develop a revolving loan.
Sure. Great,
We'll
great.
put that on the resolution.
Okay, great. Where's the resolution? Make sure you keep it. When is this
We've
one?
already accepted the agenda. Is it something we can just add to the agenda for the next council meeting?
When's the grant due?
No.
When's the grant due?
Due at the end of this week.
End of this week. All right, well, we can call a special meeting. And how much is it for?
$500,000.
Yeah, we'll meet anytime for $500,000. But you know how the council feels about these last minute. I assume this is something that came up at the last minute, you know. A lot of times, excuse me, a lot of times, honorable council members, money appears out of nowhere, you have to go get it. Time is short, so this may be one of those instances. Now, we understand what the policy is, to get resolutions to you in plenty of time. And that's what we intend to do, right, Mr. City Manager,
Yes,
right, Mr. Attorney and Clerk, in the future. However, you're saying that we may be able to get $500,000.
Or revolving loan from develop small business.
Let me just tell the council how this works. Back during the heyday, I'll never forget being in Washington, and the Assistant Secretary of EDA said, we have some money for a revolving loan that you may be able to get for your city and your local community. And he said that, I'll talk to you more about it, but I gotta go and get me a drink. I said, don't worry about it, I'll go and get the drink. So I went to get him the drink. As a matter of fact, I got him several drinks. But to make a long story short, Bill McClinton, that's his name, allocated, I think it was maybe $250,000 at that time, which was big money. And the city chose CISHA to administer the revolving fund. Remember, CISHA had that revolving fund? Now, what's important about this is a local revolving fund can make available monies for all these little businesses around town who are trying to get some money to get started. The man who's selling the fish on the corner there is just trying to find some money. Said he's working for you to get his business. All these little shops in downtown, because let's face it, trying to get a loan from the bank, you can forget it, no reflection. PNC in particular, and I'm calling it like it is. I'm calling a name, because I don't know about the other bank first, but it is hard, and then it also makes no sense for them to go to, check cashing place. So they need this. Soon as we get exit 38 developed, we've got to jump on downtown. Downtown Tuskegee still looks like a disaster zone in some of the areas, in particular on the east side of town, bus station and all of that stuff. We've got to get that. Now, there are folk who will start businesses, but they need this revolving loan. And it makes funds available, and it's not as restricted. And they pay it back into the loan fund so that others can get funds. So I would hope, now you're saying you've got an application already prepared?
It's already done. Very good.
Okay. Well, I'd like to take a moment and have the council to go through this resolution. Would you please read it? And maybe the council within its heart can consider making an exception this time. Mr. Attorney, point of special. Okay, go ahead.
I would ask that they just submit us a copy and we can get together and vote. If they would provide us a copy, I'd like to see it.
The application's been working on it, almost completed. I just don't understand how we're just now seeing this right now, right before it's time to vote on it. That's my only concern.
Where's the
Especially when the resolution calls for the city committing a cash match of $150,000. Those are the type of things that we need to know about ahead of time. I mean, I think that's common courtesy. I'm not, again, the substance of what this is talking about, I think it's a great idea, but we need to talk about this. We can't make this a practice of just blindly passing things, you know, just because we think it's a good idea.
Let me again repeat. I'm not asking the city to blindly do anything. I'm not asking the city to make this a constant practice. What I'd like for the attorney to do is to read the resolution so that, because I want the public as well to see and hear what this is about. And if the council wants to do it tonight, fine. If not, we can put it off. But you say it's due by when? Friday? By Thursday. Okay. Well, today is Tuesday. All right. So we could have a meeting on Thursday.
Mr. Chairman.
But anyway, go ahead. Listen, you're going to
offer a compromise, if I might, if you call it a compromise, request that we get a copy of it this evening. And then we can set a designated time to come back together to consider, to vote on it. And so we can be fully aware of what it is, and then we can move on with business we have to do.
Okay, good, because we got a lot of other things. You all didn't even bring a copy of it?
Mr. Mayor, and I know
Go ahead.
you asked me a couple of times, but I haven't seen it either.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it originated in the city manager's office. They've been working on it, and I just haven't seen it yet.
And we go with this communications, you know, we talked about this. Yeah. All right, well, let me just say this, on behalf of the administrator, there is no excuse for council not knowing ahead of time. And you are absolutely right. I don't, but on the other hand, I don't want to miss this money if we can get it. And especially if they are requiring us to make a match, then we do need to have a council meeting to see where the money is going to come to match it. Okay? All right. What we'll do then is, Mr. Attorney, by that time, they're going to make a copy of it available. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Head Start building upsite. We're still in touch with Head Start Regional Office. We've submitted a note to them. Did I ask for a copy of the note to them to be submitted to the council as well? Didn't I? Mr. City Manager?
Yes.
You all saw that little note we sent? Okay, all right. So we're still waiting on them. They were pretty agreeable. And if it turns out to a problem, we'll just go where? To the original site, but I think we can work that out. One thing we do want to say is that we do intend to do something about the Head Start building. That's a top priority for us. And we intend to get that done. Yes.
Could I ask, since we talked about it, if we get a chance with the city manager, Phillips, that this is site specific that we're talking about.
Okay.
And then say, what if we have an alternative? And that way we'll all be on the same page. I think we've come to this general agreement about the site with Mr. Lansing. I'm not sure. I know we talked about it.
Right.
But that might expedite the process as we go ahead and send a note out to the council. This is the site that we are targeting.
Yeah.
The site out on 80, right?
Yeah, I was suggesting a site down there on Highway 80 between Seasha and we got Booker T. Washington down there. We got that nice housing development area down there. And so that's one site. Now you have a site too up here on the corner, right? What you had to suggest?
I just, but I have to follow up to see if it's available. I can follow up.
You can follow up on it. This one would be right on the main drag right here near the credit union, right?
That's right.
Yes, explain to the public what you're talking about.
I mean, there's a large site there right behind the old warehouse building.
Yeah.
Between there and the credit union, there's a substantial amount of property there. It gives a nice facility right on the main corridor, Old Montgomery Road or West Montgomery Road, and it has land behind it. There's a substantial amount of land behind it. So there's no street coming in there, so it would be a safe and large area that was fit for a building, parking, and even a play area for users that would be there for that facility. If there's sufficient space, I think there is, but it's one site that considered as an alternate site.
Okay,
In addition,
so that's another site. And they also ask us to talk about existing sites that may be available. And the superintendent suggested Lewis Adams School. Lewis Adams School, particularly since when there's inclement weather, they go there now anyway. They're in those marginal units behind Lewis Adams. But the superintendent said the whole school now is not being used, you know. So that whole school could perhaps be renovated. And of course, that's, you know, so that too is an option. We had also mentioned the Washington Public Building, but she said it probably cost $1 million to put on that roof, put a roof on that one. So so that's another option. Okay, did you have a site in, or you still like the original one?
I made my report previously. My only problem is the time factor.
Yeah.
So if the council decides on another site, I would like to see the building done before our administration is up.
Oh, we're gonna do this building this year. We're gonna get started on it this year. Yeah, but you're right, we're gonna do this not only in our lifetime, but we're gonna do this one seriously. Because our goal is to get the young people out of those marginal units. They said we were gonna have to, even with that existing site, the Fed said that they were not ready to even move forward with that one because it had been 2 or 3 years, and there were some things they're gonna have to do anyway, which they hadn't done. Okay, but there will be a Head Start building and program, new Head Start building. That's one thing that's on the line. Senior citizens, Mrs. Smith, did we send a little note to the council on that too?
question on Head Start.
Oh, go back.
Possibly to get a
Go ahead.
copy of.
Can they hear you on, use your mic?
Possibly the copy of the layout of the building. Do we have it?
We can, the original layout, one day.
Drawing.
Can you make that available to the council members? Yeah. Now, the other thing that we've got to do is the senior citizens program is now in a building that's leased, and the owner plans to sell the building. So here again, as you know, my feelings about leasing buildings in the first place, but he plans to sell it, so we need to move the senior citizens. So we have met with Cecia, the city manager, and yours truly, and they are happy to cooperate in terms of working out some arrangements. Right now, we are paying a lease payment on the building. Cecia proposes that we help them do some things since we can't pay them, but there are some ways that we can help them, like patching and paving some streets and parking lots or whatever. But basically, Mr. City Manager, where are we on this project? And
Okay, well, there's several caveats to this move. The building has been sold, really. We have to be out there, laying in office.
okay,
And then Clyde gave us some,
Mr. Winston.
Mr. Winston.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, but anyway, he wants certain things. He wants us to pay that ADT bill, which we got tearing down some security wires for the camera system at Capitol. He wants us to pay the parking lot behind the Cecia building. And he wants us to give him a vehicle. All of that in exchange. All of that in exchange for us having a rent-free space at Sojourn. So they're gonna renovate some space in there for an office for the senior citizens staff. They do have an area for them to eat and cook.
Honorable council members, you know where we're talking about, the Sojourner area. That's where we used to be in the first place. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the ideal place for it. And whatever he's going to put it in writing, those concerns, but whatever it is much less than what we were paying over a period of time to be leasing. But this puts them in a place where they have rec rooms and all of that. And many of our seniors, incidentally, do live in the Sojourner area anyway. So when he gets it all finalized, I'm going to make the recommendation to the council that we do go ahead and implement this. Okay? Yes, sir.
Sounds like a good proposal. And
We just need to get it laid out in writing.
just ask if we can get a comparison of those costs, because when you talk about cars and things like that, I think they have to explain some things, so you can tell us how that'll be appreciated. Because it sounds like an excellent proposal.
Right, when the vehicle is a used one, that's already given to us by the utility.
We got a bunch of those. Utility board gave us a bunch of vehicles, but they don't work. So seriously, but we accept it. They can probably be fixed up and whatever. But whatever he's asking is not, we've got to give top priority to our young people and to our elderly and to our seniors. And we're proud of the service that we render to our seniors. We give them food, we give them transportation, we give them an opportunity to have wholesome fellowship. So we want to not let this level and the quality of this program diminish in any way. So CESHA, let me just say on behalf of the CESHA board as vice chair, CESHA is happy to cooperate with the city in this regard. Okay, urgent care feasibility study. I wanted to put this on the agenda again, and I asked Joe Turnham if he would find us someone who can do a feasibility study on urgent care, the need for urgent care in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, no need of us talking about this anymore. We've talked about it enough. I know Council Lady Moon and I have been to a number of meetings, and Council Lady, all of us, I think, talking about urgent care and the need for it. So once you get the information, Mr. City Manager, and what it'll cost, we'll give it to the council plenty of time, ahead of time, and you all can look at it and decide if you want to go forward with it. Okay? Great. Opinion from the Attorney General, Mr. Attorney. And did you get a copy over to the press? I asked them
Yes.
to get a copy over to Mr. Rose earlier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. You should have before you a copy of the Attorney General's opinion addressed to Fred Gray concerning the drains and drainage easements question on Highway 80 at the Freeman property. The question with respect to the city side of it, because the opinion that was requested actually requested an opinion with respect to the city and with respect to the utilities board. So just from the city standpoint, first, the question is, may the city of Tuskegee use its funds to assist in solving the described drainage problem? And each of you already is familiar with the problem, so unless you just want me to recite it, I won't recite the problem. I'll give you the answer that the Attorney General gave.
Bottom line.
Bottom line is that this is permissible. And in light of the fact that the city caused or was a part of causing the problem. And the city now can make these repairs, even on this private property, to prevent or to correct the problem that was caused without violating Section 93 or Section 94 of the Alabama Constitution. The Attorney General also recommends or stated that the city should have a contract with the owner that simply says that the proceeds will be used for the purposes that we've already stated, which is the purpose of correcting the problem. Helping to fill in the land and cut off the drainage problem, or that particular storm drain. That's it in a nutshell. So the answer is yes, the city can contribute to the project.
Okay.
I also have talked with Mr. Brad Freeman on this, and they're ready to sign the agreement once it gets over to them. It'll just be something short, just something that's going to cover what the Attorney General says we must have. We haven't answered any questions that anyone has at this time.
Mr. Pro Tem?
Thank you, Attorney Gray and Mayor Ford, and thank you, Councilman Lee. I think he originally asked that opinion. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I was asked by a citizen, why did we approve that? Did we approve it? Why did we do it? Did I support it? I said, as I recall, the whole council supported it after we realized what it was, and as the mayor explained to us, that we put the pipe in under the building, and I generally try to explain as best as I can. But thank you for getting it in final form, because I told them, my understanding, we did have the opinion. It was authorized as we requested, and we all supported, including myself, and they had a better understanding after that, so thank you.
Thank you for taking time to explain that to the citizens. Yes, sir. Councilman Lee?
Thank you, Attorney Gray, for the work to get this opinion back. Definitely, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable moving forward now that we have this opinion. My only concern now would be, initially when we were talking about getting involved in this project, we said we were going to give a cash amount. I forgot the part that the city was going to give to $15,000 apiece. And clearly this opinion says that we can give money towards the project. My only concern would be ensuring that the money that we give them is that they have the contractors, so there won't be a bid required. They're going to select their own contractors. So how do we know exactly how much the work is going to cost, what we're paying for? We're giving them, money, but it's not like it's a project that we would normally do where we would take bids and things like that. So just as far as the accountability of all the money that we're giving them and making sure that, it's used for the right things. Is there a way that we could still, we could actually go do the work and, through our process, or are we limited by this opinion of just giving them the $15,000 cash and then they decide how they're going to use it?
This part of it actually may already have been done,
Okay.
Mr. Councilman.
What, as far as giving
As far as the work itself,
the work itself has already been,
I think it's been done.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like they're moving ahead. That was, the mayor's office today, they're about to finish that project.
Right.
No doubt.
That's my only concern, I think. But, I think there's a consensus in the community that we wanted this done, and, it certainly looks good what they've done over there so far. So that was my only question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Any other questions or comments? So, they are moving ahead on this project. As you can see, there'll be a total of 4 spaces for businesses. One will be the drugstore relocating, another business, and then 2 other spaces. As you can see, it looks very nice, and that's what we want. This whole idea is not the city really giving anything. This is an investment, and it's also because the city was at fault in the beginning in this project. And so we're correcting a situation that has gone on for too long, and it's a correction. Our participation is really small compared to the $2 million that went towards improving that overall situation. Well, looks like my mic is gone. We'll continue now to the next item.
Before we leave that, just very quickly to the board, I was looking at the 4th paragraph on page 3, and I think Councilman Lee, that might answer our concerns, because in the discussion stage, we mentioned the fact that the 15 would go almost specifically for building that and stabilizing the ground around that building. I think that was in our initial discussion. So I think we're pretty clear. It states that on in that paragraph, the fourth paragraph on page 3.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
Yeah.
My concern was more so, you know, we're giving $45,000 to the project based on, you know, the quote that they got from one contract. How do we know, like if it was a project that the city was undertaking, we would have to take bids to make sure that that quote was the lowest possible quote? That's all I was saying, but it clearly states in the opinion that we are authorized to give to the expenses. So
15,000.
15, but I was saying total for the project. I think it was.
Well, the total project was about 60,000.
60,000, right. But anytime we're giving, you know, city money, the taxpayers' money, there's still accountability, you know, that goes along with that.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll proceed, if there are no other comments there, we'll go to announcements. We want to go to item 9. Anyone from the university? Students are out. Any announcements,
Yeah.
Your Honor, please?
Well, I can do it now.
Did you have your church event already?
Yes, we had the church event, and it was an excellent event, very emotional event, because a lot of people came back who hadn't been here in 20 years and saw people that they went to high school with. I mean, we had 2 or 3 people that actually almost came in tears, and then we thought about some of the people who were no longer living, and the families who'd been there, everybody from John Brown's family to Walter Oldham, people who founded organizations, Southern Community College, Tahag, and Seisha, founding members all came out of the church.
Westminster.
And out of Westminster Presbyterian Church. So it was a very beautiful event. Tommy Calhoun, Dr. Calhoun's son, is a very powerful preacher. They thought he was going to do a very reserved, conservative Presbyterian speech, but he's the AM minister. And we got through in there talking about the West. We need to have some hallelujah, and the whole church was shouting. So it was an excellent. At Westminster. It was an excellent event. It was a nice picnic the day before. Made some nice improvements. I want to thank the city manager, the street department for picking up all the work that was done. There was a lot that was cut down and put out, and they came right out and picked it up on schedule. And it was a very beautiful occasion, but he gave a very powerful and challenging message about Christians getting out into the community, being involved in the community is what the church has been pushed to do all the time. Not sit up in the church and come every Sunday and give you money, which he said do that. Get out to the community and have an impact and show compassion for citizens who need help. The other announcement I wanted to make is this Friday, in conjunction with the Tuskegee Housing Authority, the Tuskegee-Macon County Community Development Corporation will be sponsoring our 3rd annual Father's Day event down in Vincent Avenue. So we encourage all fathers to come out with your children. It's an opportunity to celebrate fathers. There will be booths there, everything from various different departments to taking pictures with the families, and some prizes will be given away. But it's mainly a celebration of fathers, and particularly absentee fathers, giving them a chance to come out with their children and bond with the children and get information and share information. One of the things we'll be stressing from the Community Development Corporation as part of our effort is to get fathers to explain to their children family medical history. A lot of people don't realize that they have diabetes that runs in the family or other conditions. Absentee fathers and absentee families sometimes don't share that. So we want to share that and celebrate fathers, bonding with fathers with their families. Stop the Violence campaign and the Ministerial Alliance will be there and other booths. So we encourage others to come out, as many as you can, all fathers, anybody from any community to come out and celebrate the fathers. That's 6 to 9 this Friday at Vincent Avenue, Community Center, the Housing Authority and Community Development Corporation.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Just hold it 1 minute, Ms. Carroll. I'm going to get to you. Your Honor, did you have any announcement?
I have no announcements.
All right, good. Your Honor, did you have any announcements?
One thing I'd like to say, Mr. Hayden, I'm sorry I won't be able to attend, as my aunt died, I'll be able to attend her funeral.
Where?
So I won't be here for that occasion.
Where?
In Mobile. Anyway, I'm having my district meeting on this Monday night at 6 o'clock at the Pavilion Building. I'd like for everyone to attend. We have wonderful meetings every month, 6 o'clock at the Pavilion Building. Come, you will learn something or you will have something to contribute, I know, to our district too. So please come.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Lee.
Yes, I just had a few district concerns, and a lot of things will follow up with the city manager. Get some change. Oh, yes, sir. Just wanted to follow up about a few things that were brought up at previous council meetings. One will be looking at that crossing on Washington Avenue before you get to Greenwood Church, where there's a caution light. There's a caution light there, but the caution light used to be. So, you know, when you come out of the church, it's a blind spot. That's a spot where a lot of accidents happen. So wanted to, you know, just remind you of that concern. And also just to get, I know we haven't talked about it specifically in a couple of meetings, but it's something that every time I go out, citizens ask me about, and that's our progress on the abatement and the abandoned houses that we have, and what are the steps that are being taken now to make sure that, you know, we're moving forward.
Now, the abatement process, we've done all of the investment.
Right.
We have selected the houses that our staff demolished. And we are bidding out for that. We have torn down 2. Okay. But in terms of cost, we have to wait until the revenue gets a little better.
So we're bidding them individually, one by one.
Right. And that's about $4. We are trying to get the revenue.
That Adams guy, that in your district.
Oh, with the house next to
Yeah,
them.
he's been concerned, he comes to every meeting concerned about the house that Mr. Adams.
Used to be over the cleanup.
Comes
Lives
here all the
on
time.
Brickyard Hills area.
Is that the one that's been torn down?
We don't make it.
I have one of those.
Go ahead.
You know, when I called you about Ms. Williams on Auburn, was that taken care of?
We have to give, that's gonna cost some money. We got engineers looking at how.
No, I mean, where the cars, I think it should. Ms. Williams has all the cars on her yard where she can't get out of her drive.
We took care of it. I went by to see Ms. Wood. She has a problem with drugs, people on either side of her house. And that's how I talked to the chief about it. And he know about the activity that's going on down there. And he's with the, I'm talking to him. He's now.
I just want to make sure Ms. Williams is satisfied, because she was quite upset about not being able to get out of her
I
yard.
went by her house. She showed me the shot down. She used them to get them out of the drive. But the chief knows who those people are. They are making arrangements. As well. That's what it is.
Okay. Any-
Follow it. Yes, sir.
Please.
From the last council meeting, there was a couple that came forward and said they wanted to put a mobile home on Washington Avenue, but it wasn't zoned. I talked to Mr. Bowen about it as well. It wasn't zoned for, you know, I guess, mobile homes. Did she, you know, we were able to help her out or find out anything further on that
We were supposed to meet with the planning.
today? That was today, right? Yeah. Okay,
To talk to them.
okay. I just told her I would get back
Is
to
that
her,
the
so I
one we
wanted-
gonna meet on tomorrow, probably?
To 4 o'clock. And that meeting, Chairman.
So they're the ones that will make that ultimate decision, or could you,
They will,
okay,
will take it.
okay.
Council member, point of special information here. If you look in your package, you'll see the feasibility study that was done in 2007, Tuskegee Hospital Feasibility and Community Health Access Study. This is a study that the council commissioned. So, Mr. City Manager, if you take this study and get some idea about cost of a similar study to address urgent care. You may even be able to get someone at the university to do an assessment. But council members, all of you have it, just go through it so you'll be familiar. That's the kind of study that we're asking to be done on urgent care. Okay, we'll go now to, we're ready, City Manager, we're ready for your communications.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Under, got several items tonight. Council concerns. I think I'll start out addressing the letter from Mayor Pro Tem about the marital subdivision. The Chappie James is the street that everybody wants traffic to stop. We initially were under the impression that the road belonged to the state. After talking to the Alabama Department of Transportation, they insist that the road belongs to us.
It is, it's our street,
Well,
Chappie James.
that's not my original information. Right. So we got information from the horse's mouth. So therefore, since we know the street belongs to us, we will do what, go over there and see what we can do about doing what they need us to do over there. Now, as we are talking here, we are talking money, talking costs, to get a lot of things done, talking personnel, to get a lot of things done. We don't quite have all the personnel we need, and we definitely don't have all the money that we need. But we get to the marital subdivision as we can. I know we're doing some patching over there. Just finished some things on that list that they put together. They had a problem with street signs. We took care of that problem. Right now, we're in other sections of the city putting up street signs. And we are patching as we can get to that neighborhood. Now, as far as paving, I think it's Brothers, that would be the next street. We will pave. Okay. Now, we'll be happy to talk to those people over there in a private session and get some of their concerns, let them air their concerns about it. Let them know where we are and when we can get to them.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I think that was the main thing. They wanted to get an idea that it was scheduled coming up and something was being addressed on it. As we're able to do it and we're able to share the fact that it is our street and we can put up the speed limit signs and consider any other measures that they mentioned, would probably go a long ways.
So, Mr. Manager, you saying that you're gonna try paying it, but they say they don't want
Paving
part of
wells.
the field, so you're not gonna field the road.
Took the mayor over there one been over there looking at the neighborhood.
Gotta say they don't want no holes here.
Right.
They won't pay me.
We don't pay. That's gonna be the next project. Okay. So under the concerns, street maintenance, that would be the patching and paving. At this point, we're not doing any paving because the cash flow is low. And there are some streets that we started paving that we haven't finished. About 3. So as the money gets better, we'll efforts to pay with that. Okay, and as far as the grass cutting, I think my fellows are doing a good job of that. We probably just finished the lake, doing exit 38, and added exit 32 to their list of grass cutting. We're on 32. 199, downtown, all those streets in the park, they should be looking pretty good to you at this time. And, we hope to maintain the lake, maintain certain parks. So we'd like to not cut it when it needs cutting, keep it cut.
Exit 32, is that something the city of Franklin have requested from us? So what, I know that's outside of our city limits, so what was it? Exit 32?
I didn't annex that one, if I could. I wish I could have.
I was just wondering.
No, that's in the city of Franklin.
Well, I was
No, it's
just
the
wondering
city of
what
Franklin.
caused us to go out there, though? What was the,
I'll let the two of you all resolve that.
I mean, I'm just curious, I'm not.
Well,
Yeah.
the cost is the aesthetics
Okay.
of what it looks like coming from there to the Tuskegee.
Gotcha.
In fact, we want to cut some trees down that's going all the way up there. So you can get a better look at exit 38 and just look at the property at exit 38.
Use your mic.
I don't have a problem with us all working together in the county because we're all in it together. I was just wondering, was that a request by the city of Franklin? Was it economic development, or was it just something that's us?
That was my decision outside.
Okay. It's a lot of citizens in the city that grass is good. I get that too.
Now, as far as the lots are concerned, now, you know that's private lot. Well, so we have to be, if we cut the grass, we're gonna have to charge the people. We're gonna have to add it to their tax roll if they don't pay it. And, we just have to get around to those lots when our people finish what they're supposed to do for the city. We were hiring contractors to do that. In the past, we hired some contractors that out. But that was stopped. We have to do it too. Okay. So you have the next one is the financial report, this is the council report, it does list the checks that were dispersed. If you have any questions about those, about that report, I would appreciate you coming to the office to look at what you need to say. And the City of Tuskegee Employee of the Month section there, we want to carry that forward to the next council meeting, which will be on the 24th. What we are doing here is each department on a monthly basis will have an opportunity to present an outstanding employee to the public. So, fire department will present an employee who will be employee of the month. Police department will do the same, each like that, each department will have an employee that they said should be employee of the month. Okay? Head Start revised extension lease agreement, that's done, it's in your packet. The resolution for reimbursement of funds, we dealt with that already.
Mr. City Manager, point of inquiry. Are we ready with the Head Start one?
Yes.
We want to go ahead and authorize it, or did we already authorize it?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think you already authorized it, but there is a resolution that authorizes execution of it, and is there for your consideration tonight.
Okay, remember, we just took out that part where Scipio said the lease was in effect until we build a new building. Essentially, that's what you took out, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, are we ready? Go ahead and enter into the lease agreement. If so, the chair will entertain a motion that we adopt and authorize the lease per that change that the attorney has made. You may want to state it for the public, some people don't follow.
Right. So, Mr. Mayor, you have two documents. One is the resolution that authorizes execution of the extension of lease, and the other document is the extension of the lease itself. In that document that's titled extension of lease, you'll see that it refers back to 2009, the March 15, 2009 lease. Paragraph 2 is where the significant change was made. In Mississippi's proposal, it simply said, or rather it said that the tenant, everything hinged on the city building a building. That was the only condition under which it would not have a penalty if it terminated the agreement early. In this, the city's recommendation, or the city's proposal, it says that the tenant's decision to vacate the premises shall not result in the imposition of a penalty for early termination. Rather, upon notice to vacate, tenants shall remain obligated to pay monthly rent as set forth in the extension, only through the period ending the following May subsequent to the notice to vacate. And actually, that should say the following March, because March is your anniversary date. Other than that, the extension is essentially the same as what Mississippi sent over. And so we would need to make that change from May to March in this extension.
Okay? So, shall we entertain a motion for adoption and authorizing the lease? All right, he has a question.
What, it was really just for the city manager. I see in the new extension, it's a total, the rent is $43,140 per year, $3,595 per month. How much were you paying there? Is it the same amount?
Same.
Okay.
$3,500.
What's the figure? We clear? What's the figure?
It's
So
the
the
same
public
as-
will know.
It's the same.
Same as it was before.
Announce it to the public so they'll know.
The monthly rent is the same as it was before this agreement.
Yeah. Where's the agreement? What does it say?
$3,595 per month.
Okay, all right. Which comes to an annual amount of how much?
$43,140.
Okay. I want the public to know that's how much we're paying in lease payments. And we could use that to build a mighty nice building for our children, our Head Start. And that's what we intend to do. And of course, that building downtown, we're going to do everything we can to help them recruit commercial establishments to go into that building. Okay? Move. Are we ready for the motion? Call for the question.
If we entertain resolution
Right. We're
Well,
going
we could move by the pro tem. Shall we entertain a second?
Second.
Moved and properly second by Councilman Lee. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So be it. Okay, great. All right, let's go to the next item.
Next item is, we dealt with G, which is the resolution reimbursement fund. That's going to be on the next.
Yeah, you all take time and go through it, and we'll put that on the agenda for the next council meeting.
And 8 is the tax rebate incentive. We made our changes to the agreement that came from Frank Valero, attorney for Winston. We sent that information back to him. Some of the changes included changing the date. They used December 31 as the year end, our year in September. They are talking about other taxes in the agreement other than sales tax. They're talking occupational taxes, retail service occupational tax. Talking about all kinds of taxes. We just do it in sales tax. So we took that out. And primarily that's probably, they were talking about a payment on a quarterly basis. We get our sales taxes on a monthly basis. That's how we pay. They were talking about making the agreement effective October 8, 2013. We took that out and made it effective in this agreement signed this time.
Mr. Attorney, anything else?
No, that's it. Well,
No, I mean,
he covered them.
okay.
He covered all the major points.
Do you want the council to authorize our changes, and with the understanding that if they accept our changes, boom, we go. This has been going back and forth for the last year, as you know.
City did not include occupational tax.
Oh,
Correct.
Only
Sales
sales
tax.
tax.
Right.
No, we're not debating any occupational tax.
Those are
Just
the items we
sales.
took out.
So council, you all satisfied with those? You all have it, right? You don't have it?
Just tell you what we took out of that.
Well, be kind enough to share it with the council, and hopefully they'll say yes to that by the next council meeting, and perhaps we can adopt it then. Okay,
They
Go
are
ahead.
in receipt of the document
They are.
that he's referring to.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And I didn't realize that the council wanted the back and forth correspondence between the attorneys, or else we would have sent that on to you as well. But I'll caution you that you may end up getting quite a bit of minutia. So we'll be happy to send it to you.
what the council wants.
Yeah. Oh, but
What the council wants is a final document to get this thing done. But you all work it out, keep working on it. Let's go to the next item, ready?
Okay, that's a resolution on certified historical city for Tuskegee. We've done some research on that, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, before you make your statements, let me just say to the council, one of the things our city wants to do is become a certified historic city like the other cities, Auburn and Selma and other cities. You know, Montgomery just was declared as a national. These cities are able to get money, but you first have got to get certified. So the city manager has done the research in terms of what we need to do in order to get certified. Last week, I was over in Mount Bayou, Mississippi, and much to my surprise, they are a certified historic city in Mississippi. And of course, they have a commission that works on this all the time, and they hosted us. They're eligible for funding from State Historic Commission, and so will we be as well. I want the council to know that the 5 historically black towns and settlements, that effort is moving forward. Those are the 5 towns, we are the 5 towns that Booker T. Washington played a significant role in. For example, Edenville, Florida, Booker T. Washington sent a person down to start a school in Edenville. In Mound Bayou, Mississippi, Booker T. Washington sent a man down to start the first bank and was active in the National Business League. And Booker T. Washington made a speech in Mound Bayou, and more than 14,000 people came out. So he had a great impact, and that's part of that historic marker. In Grambling, Louisiana, Booker T. Washington sent the first principal and president of Grambling University, a member of the Lewis Adams family. And of course, the other city, what's the other city? We got Hobson City, Alabama, which is the oldest African-American historic town in Alabama, founded in 1899. Booker T. Washington, here again, sent the principal to start a school there. And of course, finally, Tuskegee Institute, Alabama. You all know the role that Booker T. Washington played in developing the Institute, that community, Greenwood community, which once was a community that had everything. Its own businesses, its own post office, own everything. So Booker T. Washington was quite a hero in these 5 towns. And so since we share that common heritage, we are going to take advantage of that and apply for funding for these cities. And so that work is ongoing. Certified cities is one of the steps that we need to take to get funding, and another one is the National Park Service just announced a grant that cities could apply up to $75,000. And so we've been in touch with Sandy Taylor, and she was on the conference call with us, and she supports it 100%. And this grant is specifically designed to help under-promoted National Park Service areas. So what we're proposing to do, if we can get this grant, is use it to help prepare the application and research we need to get the VA hospital declared as a National Historic Site and a National Park Service. As you know, we got the Tuskegee Institute National Historic Site, we got the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site, and our third goal is to get the VA hospital. Now, in spite of the bad news you're hearing about the VA hospitals, and that is tragic, but still, the Tuskegee VA hospital is one of the nation's most richest heritage, in view of the fact that what it was to blacks in medicine is equally as important as what the airmen were in aviation. So we're not going to give up on that mission of getting. I was out at the airport today going through the Park Service, and it just makes me very proud every time I was showing some people there. They had people from all over, white and black, coming to visit. So that's what we're involved in, restoring our history. And if Montgomery, Alabama can be declared as the most historic city in the nation, well, Tuskegee, we feel that we can also get some recognition. Yes? This is new, what we're talking about. This is being certified by the state of Alabama. Go ahead and tell us what we need to do, Mr. City Manager.
Okay. The Alabama statewide comprehensive preservation plan, which was put into law in 2008. So several cities have been certified by the Alabama Historic. Preservation Society in Alabama. So it takes more than a resolution to get this underway. First of all, you have to establish a board, a National Historic Commission board. And that board has to be composed of professionals, historians, city planners, architects, etc. And after the board is established, you have to do a survey to determine what your historic district is. Now, our Tuskegee's historic district is probably going to be Tuskegee. But most of the buildings and sites around Tuskegee will have to be included in the district. Okay, so you get a grant from the state to do that, to do this survey. So after you determine the survey, after you get to do the survey, where you're establishing all of the buildings, historic sites that go within that historic district, you submit all of this to the Alabama Historic Commission for approval. However, this is not done by the city. It has to be done by the board, the historic board. They submit the applications, they submit all the annual reports. And the board has to be a 501c3 organization. So you will be selecting seven members to that board in order to get it established according to Alabama Historic Commission. So that's the process. Then you do a resolution that includes everything that you're supposed to have done to do in the survey and identifying all of the historical properties. And then you put all that information in the resolution. You have to have public meetings on it. It's a process that we have to go through. What I understand, there was a historic commission established. I don't know where it is, what's the status of it right now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. City Manager. Whatever the process is, we can do it. They've done it in Auburn, and Montgomery, and all of these other cities in the state. If they're getting money to preserve their history, then we should certainly take advantage of this opportunity as well. So, council members, think about it. At the next council meeting, each one of us come with the name of a person whom you'd like to have pointed to the historic board. And there's 5 of us, and if somebody wants to come up with 2, that's fine, whatever. Or you can ask the city manager to appoint one attorney to come over. So.
Could we use someone from outside of Tuskegee?
It has to be a resident.
You would.
Well, I had a guy in Atlanta as a city planner, so many times. Somebody who knows what to do.
Okay. We'd rather they be local, but I think the law probably requires that the board, because it's got to be incorporated. So no problem. But a good idea, that person can be a consultant to it, right? An advisor to it. Okay? So no problem. No problem. All right.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
So let me just do this. So honorable council members, Madam Clerk, remind me to send a little note to the council members asking each one to come with a person. Or if anybody wants to do 2, that's fine. But we need 7. Think about it. You don't have to do it tonight. Okay? So we'll put that on the agenda. That's the first step in this process. Okay. Please proceed.
Under announcement, Mr. Mayor, you should see a list of items in your packet, which is showing activities that our Human Resource Department is going through in terms of training of our personnel. We got dates, times, and places. If you would like to attend some of them, they're all listed, the dates are there. Okay, however, the human resources person at this time wants to talk to us about establishing the summer youth program and getting it started. That's Ms. Erica Knowles.
I'll be very brief to Mayor, council members, city clerk, city manager, and our attorney. We have began the summer youth program with the lottery. We held it on last week, where we had 43 youth to actually apply and were eligible for our program. We had a lottery, drew out names, and we have 20 candidates who are going to participate in our program. This Thursday at 10 a.m., we're going to have our kickoff of the summer youth program. We invite each of you out to come and talk about what you do in your offices and provide some feedback and encouragement to the kids as they go forth in the program this year. We're also going to have another program in the middle of the project in order to teach them some life skills, some things about completing applications, some things about the community that they may not be familiar with, and just some other opportunities that the city offers to them. So we welcome you out this Thursday at 10 o'clock to meet all the new youth for the program. Thank you.
Okay. How about that Thursday at 10? Is there any option on that time?
It's from 10 until 1. 10 until 1. So.
Yeah, I can't do it. That's the time of the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority for me in Montgomery. If there's some flexibility, or maybe we can do it at another time. You can go ahead and kick it off. But at some point, or maybe you can invite them to. Okay, well, that's good. You represent us then. Let them know. Okay. All right. Ms. Pro Tem, how's that look for you? Okay, good. Okay, you've got some.
Okay.
Okay. All
Can I
right.
ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this placed in the newspaper for kids to apply?
Yes, ma'am. We placed it in the newspaper. We also sent flyers to Booker T. Personally, we made copies and took it so that they could send it to all the kids, send it home with them so they could apply. We also put it online on our website, and we posted it throughout our buildings. We announced it at the council meeting too, the week prior to, so.
I don't got a student that came to me and said that he worked last year, and he was told that he could work again this year. And so he came up here, and it was too late.
His name is chosen, in a lot of them.
He said he was told he could come back. So I said,
Okay. All right. Other announcements? Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. On that list, you can see some of the, Thursday, June the 19th, we have some mandatory training for all employees, workplace violence training, and drug-free workplace safety training. On Thursday, June 26th, the retirement system is coming here to explain to some of the potential retirees. Then on Friday, June 27th, supervising and managing conflict is another training session. Praising, reprimanding, disciplining employee time, July 25th, September 14th, fire extinguisher training for the fire department, building evacuation training. And Wednesday, August 28th, performance appraisal training. October 2014, personnel policy review, mandatory for all employees. That's a schedule of training activities we have for
Okay.
our employees. The next section here is ordinances. And this ordinance is ordinance 2014-9. That's the fishing license and fees for Lake Tuskegee.
Honorable council members, you all have it? Or did they have it ahead of time? Okay,
The adoption date.
so take time and if you all are ready. Everyone did have it, right? Okay, are there any questions?
Question, with the collection of the revenue, will that be done by Parks and Recreation? As far as,
That's gonna be collection of
revenue department, so just as far as logistics, as far as people getting their fishing, you know, paying for what they catch and all of that, will it be set up out in the building that we have out by the lake and just, okay, and it'll go in effect? So are we already set up out there to collect? Okay. And that's everything. Now, as far as enforcement of that, will that be on us within the police department, or will the wildlife people?
Well, it's gonna be us and like,
Okay.
they're gonna patrol, make sure that nobody's overfishing, abuse.
Pro Tem? Seen?
Yes.
All right, Mr. John.
My additional concern is that,
All right, Mr. Pro Tem.
my additional concern, mayor and council, city managers, that we've taken, making sure that we covered all appropriate liabilities, potential liabilities, because of the additional activities out there on the dock and all of that, we need to make sure that's covered in that area. Because now we have some additional areas that activity will be occurring. And people get around water, people get drinking, I mean, it's potential liabilities. I just want to make sure we've made extra efforts to cover that, particularly since we'll have, be charging people for events as well as fishing for other events. And so I just want to make sure we take the precautions related to liability, make sure.
It's gonna be well patrolled.
But I mean, from the insurance side as well.
Sure.
Right.
Okay? And put the signs up, swim at your own risk. Boat at your own risk. Okay, Chair will entertain a motion that we adopt a resolution, ordinance, or whatever, setting the fees for the lake. Ms. Whitehead, you're a lake person, so you have any comments or questions at this point? Ready?
I'm all for it.
All right, so you make the
I'd like for Mr. Brownlee to get on board and become part of the staff here and run the lake. Thank you for a good job.
So, can we get a motion for,
We accept the,
adopt the ordinance?
y'all,
Moved by Council Lady Whitehead, this is in your district. Shall we entertain second?
Second on ordinance number 2014-9.
Second by Council Lady Moon. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, please give a sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, so be it. Okay, great. Proceed, Mr. Manager, the next item.
Okay, the next item is resolutions, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2014-6.
Well, we all pause and express our deepest sympathy to the family of Mr. Solomon Knight, who was indeed a legend in his own time. Touched the lives of so many young people, in particular those who played baseball for him. And not only baseball, he was just a positive role model in terms of how he loved and supported his family, how he was active in his community, how he was active in his church. And so may he rest in peace. Now, as you know, we have named a park downtown, the baseball field, in his honor. I think, council members, we need to ask the administration to go ahead and put up some kind of nice, sign indicating, there may be one of them already, I don't know, but to go ahead and get something very visible, Mr. Manager, indicating that the park is named in honor of Mr. Solomon Knight. Chair will entertain a motion that we adopt the resolution. Moved by the Pro Tem, second by Councilman Whitehead. Questions, comments? And so, Mr. Manager, in that same motion, if you could make sure we have some kind of sign up or whatever. All in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So be it. Great. See, thank you. I see our Recreation Department Director here, Drew. It's very thoughtful of you to suggest that we do that. When was it, last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, because you never know, all of us, we never know when how the time will come. So I'm glad he was able to see it in his lifetime and be there with his children and his family. So that was well done, very timely. Okay, let's go to you again.
Got one more resolution.
Okay.
We're ready to entertain.
We're ready.
That's the one on the economic development administration.
Oh, yeah. You better go ahead and read it. Go through it.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, you should now have before you a copy of the resolution. I think it's resolution 2014-10. I'm not sure, but this is concerning the economic development assistance programs and the grant that the city manager spoke of earlier, as administered by the United States Department of Commerce. Whereas the City of Tuskegee has determined that the greatest economic development need that can be addressed by the EDA funds is a revolving loan fund administered by the Industrial Development Board in collaboration with the city's Economic Development Department to catalyze the continued development of the Tuskegee Industrial Park and for the retention and creation of jobs, stimulating private investment with the city and strengthening the tax base. The resolution goes on to authorize the submission of an application for financial assistance to the Economic Development Administration under the opportunity title Fiscal Year 2014 Economic Development Assistance Programs in the amount of $500,000 for the continued development of the Tuskegee Industrial Park and for the retention and creation of jobs, stimulating private investment with the city and strengthening of the tax base. 2, the City of Tuskegee commits to provide a cash max in the amount of $150,000 plus in-kind contributions to complete the proposed activities. And the city manager is hereby authorized and directed to execute all required application documents on behalf of the city and is authorized to take such other necessary steps to implement the project with all due speed in the event of funding approval. And the proposed date for execution is today's date, June 10, 2014. As the city manager indicated, the deadline actually is upon you, and as I think you all know, funds from the federal government do not flow as much as they once did. So this resolution is here for your consideration, and we recommend your adoption.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
How
Your
do we
Honor.
table it now? I mean, how does it come back up with table? We not table? I thought we had tabled the matter.
So we're gonna have to call a special meeting.
We asked for a copy of it because we just not getting the fact that it's $150,000 cash, a cash match plus of $150,000 plus in kind. That's my concern. I mean, I didn't know we were going to entertain this evening. We have said earlier we were tabling this at this point. It may be that,
Okay.
the federal government may have limitations. We do too. When we talk about $150,000 cash right now, our priorities, I'm concerned about the priorities where we're putting our money, as Councilwoman Moon said earlier. We have challenges with the police department, with the fire department, with our streets. And I can support this 100%, but I'd like to know where we're going to get the match. I'd like to see what we're applying for. and I really have some concerns. So yes, the federal government has limitations, but we have some serious limitations about our expenditures and our budget. When I get it, our budget's tight, and we're not getting everything we need to all our departments, I have real concern about jumping in something until we're familiar with and comfortable. Not that I don't support it, but I don't like to rush into anything. I ask that we get a copy of this and the proposal and have a chance to get back in the next day or two and get this done. I agree with Councilman Lee. I really don't like things coming at the last minute. I'm not really comfortable with some of the things going on in our overall financing and this balancing that we're doing in our financial situation. That's one of the things I want us to discuss more, because we rushed through some of the financial consideration. This is the other thing that's talking about $150,000 according to this that we put before us this evening and want to vote. I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Okay, honorable council members, we talked about doing this in a special meeting on Thursday. So do we want to have a clerk to poll us? Is that the easy way, or you want to decide now? I would like to have a special meeting and consider it. We still may or may not do it, but at least have a meeting and consider it. You want to get the clerk to poll us, or you want to set a time now? Want to do an early breakfast meeting? Huh? How about we do it early? No, nothing, you're not at all? Do a late one.
I won't be able to
Thursday. Well, how about tomorrow? 24-hour notice. Okay, tomorrow evening? Yeah, anyway, so 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tomorrow? Sounds okay.
Even if we have a meeting therefore, I kind of have some of the same hesitation, only because I just don't know what all this project is about. It could be great, maybe I'm just in the dark about it, or, the information, wasn't given ahead of time, but.
Point of special.
Okay.
Would y'all not share your concerns with me? Because I agree with you in terms of, we should have had it before.
Right.
Share them with the city manager.
But, I mean, even though as far as the turnaround as early as tomorrow and making a decision, is there going to be is this a project that that you're recommending, Mr. City Manager? I'm just trying to figure out I would just like to have a presentation to feel more comfortable about exactly what what's it called, economic development, rolling loan, I mean, just more about what that program is. I can do a little research on it myself tonight and be more comfortable tomorrow, but even if we have a meeting 24 hours from now and nothing is done between now and then, I mean, is there going to be a presentation? Who's proposing?
We're gonna have this.
Okay.
We're gonna have, just our meeting presentation.
Mr. Booth?
Our meeting.
Well, let me just simply say to the council, I do hope we can have an emergency meeting and see if we can do it. My first reaction is that we do consider doing it if we can afford it. I would even be willing to recommend that we take some match out of our surplus fund, because this is so important to the redevelopment of the downtown. Now, one of the things that I would suggest you all do is change the resolution and let's focus more on downtown rather than the industrial park, if it's still eligible, because that's economic development too, commercial development. We've got to do something about downtown Tuskegee. Just so if you could look and see if you could, the industrial park, yes, but also downtown central business district, especially loans that could be made available to help business people in the downtown area. So if you look and see if you can amend that and have that as a part of the consideration once you bring it to us. If that is a part of it, I could get excited about that. Industrial park, I'm not really, as a matter of fact, I'm not really, it said administered by the Industrial Development Board.
Y'all didn't hear me.
Excuse me. It says administered by the Industrial Development Board. Now, what is the status of our Industrial Development Board? Are we incorporated? You got us all up and going again? Use the old incorporate, put the new members on?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Because I would like in the Industrial Development dash Downtown Redevelopment Authority, I would certainly want them to also be involved in it, or the city.
Well, I mean, that's, Mr. Mayor, in all due respect, that's part of my readiness. This
Right.
needs to be clear about, is it gonna be industrial park? Who's gonna do it? Are they incorporated? Is it downtown? How much is the maximum loan? If you're only talking about a loan of X amount of dollars, it may not help on major entities. See, we don't understand this. And we've got to get to a point where the council is included in the decision-making process with adequate information, that we're gonna be asked to make a reasonable decision.
Well, now,
And
I
that's all I'm
agree.
asking.
I agree with that. Okay. All right. So we'll try to set an emergency meeting. Just poll everyone and see if we can do this 8 o'clock Thursday morning. Because in the evening, Thursday evening, I've got to go to Washington, and there's a White House meeting on Friday that I intend to go to on behalf of our city to make sure we explore getting some additional resources from the Obama administration. Now, but early morning, Thursday, Thursday is not I mean Wednesday we talked about. Wednesday evening is what, I'm sorry. Tomorrow evening around 7. Okay, around 7.
In addition,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to know where we're gonna get the resources from, other than the reserve that we just put up.
Yeah,
And I really cannot support taking from that reserve.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. Everyone will have a chance to input. But like I said, it may not be something that we can do, and sometimes grants are too expensive. You just can't afford to do them. But on the other hand, I think we do need to take a look at it, because Exit 38, we're going to do Exit 38, but we also need to begin to focus on downtown Tuskegee. And I can envision this being a way that it could certainly be, can be accomplished. So if you could do that, okay. Now, Mr. Ali, I understand you developed this, or you want to make a comment to the council?
If you will allow me, Honorable Mayor, I greatly appreciate it.
Well, I was about to let that happen now. Do you want to, would you?
2 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Mayor, may I-
He's not on the agenda?
He's not on the agenda. I'd like to make a statement prior to this.
All right, well, okay. Back to the council, okay. All right, yes, go ahead.
One of the things I want to put on the record, I'm concerned about our financial situation and our expenditures. I've expressed this several times. We go through this quickly. I really want to look at our expenditures. We have the same pattern that's going on, and we say that we're tight. We talk about our priorities. I think the council established this priority. We made a commitment to the citizens about that 2% of what was going to be useful. So I will get the city manager, since he said we can do it then, and we're not reviewing it here. We got a report that we didn't fully review. And major expenditures in that report we're making, and if they're required, fine. If those are priorities of all of us in this council, we've agreed to them, fine. But I think that we've got to look at what we're doing financially. And when we take on these new projects, we have to have time to consider that in what we do. So I just want to express that I still have a concern about our financial situation in everything we do. Not only in this project that we're proposing, which seems to be a good project, but in anything we do, we've got to look at what we're expending, because we don't want to get to a point where we're tight. So I would look forward to meeting the city manager and the head of the financial department to see where we are, where we're going at this time, and what challenges we face. And with due respect, we're going to hear from Mr. Ali in the morning. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask to adjourn at this point based on the agenda.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion for adjournment, and we can maybe hear for us when we meet on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
We're
we're
going to see, we're going to hear from Tyler.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay. All right, Chair will entertain a motion for adjournment. Said the evening at 7. Okay? I'm already 70.